Today we're going to be talking about a group of people from West Africa called the Malians.
Malians, Malians, Malians.
No, not them. Them.
Mali de Fancy, Mali de Fancy.
Bonjour and bienvenue to everybody watching this video from all around the world. Tout le monde. Today we're going to be talking about Mali, and if you don't know anything about Mali, it is a country located in West Africa, and it is the eighth largest country in Africa, and its capital is called Bamako. Now, the reason why we're talking about Mali today is because they've been up to a lot of interesting things, and I love countries that get up to interesting things. So Mali has a lot that we could talk about, but we're going to start from the last president. We're going to be talking about President Ibrahim Keita. Now, when Ibrahim Keita was Mali's president, economically it looked like they were thriving. Yeah, poverty rate dropped from above 90% to above 80%. But in real life, the Mali people were not feeling him like that. They said, hey, you're not doing anything. And he was like, no, look at the GDP. I feel like I'm doing something. Like, nah, like if you look right over there, there is a lot of, terrorism happening in the country. There's a lot of Islamic extremists that are rising up and not allowing any of us to have peace. Now, when we look economically, there's a lot of corruption, and our gold mines are being prostituted like, cheap horse, and there's just a lot going on, and we don't really like you like that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to step down. You got to step down. And that brings me to the current president of Mali, Colonel Assimi Goita. I really hope I am pronouncing these names well. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your president's name. I mean no harm or no disrespect. Alright. Goita, said, you know what, I'm done being a chill guy. I don't like what you're doing, the government. Like, we don't have anything stable in this country. We need more, and you're not giving more. So, be gone. So yeah, they like cool, and they detained the president and a lot of his cabinet members, and even before then, there have been a lot of protests on the streets to President Keita's governance, and they're like, we want you gone. We don't like you. I'm saying. So, yeah, when they heard about the coup, they came to intensify their protest and demanded for him to resign. And, as a benevolent president that he is, he said, I do not want any bloodshed to be spilled on my account. It's funny how you can say that, but then when you're in power, you don't rule for the people. You just do what a lot of African politicians do, which is stack up generational wealth for themselves. But I digress. So he resigned and also dissolved his entire, I think, was it his party or the governance? I need to verify that. Anyways, Colonel Goetal did not become the president, even though he was the one that led the first coup. That's why he's a very interesting person to me. He led the coup twice. Like, damn, the man wasn't playing any games. So because of international pressure and voices like the EU, the European Union, the African Union, the United Nations, and the President of France. Now, you see these four different entities I just called. Anytime something happens in Africa and you see these four names react negatively, just know that they are doing something right. Just know that the person or the nation that is rebelling is doing something right. Because you see those four names, they are never on the right side of history. They're always not doing anything, or bending over backward for imperial powers. But let's move on. Anyway, so because of international pressure, Goita said, all right, chill. I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna hand over to a transitional government that is gonna be voted in by the people, and yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. But I feel like he said that last part in his mind because he handed over the power to the next interim government, or rather transitional government. And it was the same old pattern. It was like, wow, you all not doing nothing. You all are just sitting up here, with all this power, and you're not changing anything. Like, first of all, let us start with the Islamists. Now, I do not know why these people, say their religion is like peace, right? Because I don't actually have anything against Muslims. I've met wonderful Muslim people. I have lived with Muslims. I've, to an extent, grown up with Muslims. I don't have any problem with them. The extremism in their religion is just a recurring theme historically. You don't want to live in peace amongst yourself, because I know that even in Islam there's different sects, and not every sect of Islam subscribes to the jihad, let us kill everybody on this land or make them convert and pay taxes by force or whatever theology. Not every Muslim subscribes to that, I know. But it's tiring, like every single land that they get into, and then somehow some group of people become extremists, and then now all of us in this land, including the peaceful Muslims, we can't live in peace because a group of you believe that you must take over this land. And the funny thing is that historically, even when you take over the land, you don't really do a good job ruling it. And I'm not talking, hear me, I'm not talking about Muslims who do not subscribe to that sect. Like I said, there's different sects. I'm talking about the sect that believes in, Sharia, jihad, and all of that. Once they get into power, they turn that nation into something that you would not even recognize. You think I'm lying? Look up the pictures of Afghanistan before and after, although there's a lot of nuance to that conversation. But I digress. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so the transitional government in Mali wasn't doing anything. Like Goita, Colonel Goita was like, guys, are you seeing what I'm saying? And they're like, yeah, are you seeing what we're saying? We're seeing what you're saying. So another coup rocked the nation of Mali, led again by the guy of the moment. And he came over, and then at first he was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to take over power, but I'm going to hand it over to somebody else who can do the job, better than what I feel like I can do, something like that. And as usual, the four horsemen of power came and said, no, this is wrong, we condemn, blah, blah, blah. And Goita said, yeah, you can talk that talk, I'm ruling. So they said they're going to allow for another election to come and, hand over the power back. And that never really happened. So when he came into power, a lot of things began to shake. And one of the things that shook were Mali's gold mines. Mali has a large, gold mine reserve, natural deposit, a lot, which is why when you look at a lot of African countries, the reason why you see a lot of foreign invasion, interference, and all of that is mineral resources, land control, all of that. Anyways, so they had gold mines, and the state of Mali had less than 6% of stake in their gold mine, one. Number two, the foreign companies that will come into Mali would cut a deal with the government that those deals would only benefit the upper echelon. The rest of them were just left to fend for themselves. I don't know. And then, these foreign companies will violate a lot of laws, tax laws, labor laws, a lot of controversies were around the gold mines. Meanwhile, these companies were making millions from, excavating Mali's gold. So when Colonel stepped into power, he's like, yeah, hey, that's not gonna fly. And one of the biggest beef that happened was between the Mali government and the specific Canadian gold company, Barrick Gold. Now, Mali stepped up when he stepped into power, and they said, you know what? We're gonna raise our stake in the gold mines from 6 to 35%. And then next up, we are going to, increase the taxes, and you're going to adhere to these taxes that we are increasing to. You get what I mean? Anyway, so Barry Gold, who has been used to dealing with a corrupt government whose leaders only thought about themselves and their bloodline because, screw the rest of the people. They were like, no, we're not doing that. We are used to corruption. Where is the corruption? Give us the corruption so that when they die, as always, as we've been to, been doing before, broski, me, you know how we do this. And Mali governor was like, ha ha ha, no. No, 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 no. This is a new government you're dealing with. We're not like our ancestors. You go and pay us that stack because it's our gold. It's not your gold. Yes, you have the infrastructure, the knowledge, the technology, but it's our gold, broski. So you either pay up or this is not going to work out. And, they thought initially that he was bluffing. They thought the new government of Mali was bluffing. And then they messed around and then they found out. Mali grounded operations in Barry Gold. I think is located in local. Okay, I'm not going to butcher the name. Just know that they shut down the operations. Okay, the Mali state government took over the operations of the gold mine. Now, did the production capacity fall? Yes, it did. But they just show that they meant business. Like, okay, you know what? It's our gold. You don't want to respond to our financial demand, then get out. You know what Barry Gold did? They went to an international body to report the Mali government. And Mali responded by kidnapping three of their high-profile employees. Like, it was a very funny battle between the Mali government and the entitled foreign company Barrico. Like, it was hilarious, but not hilarious. Anyways, so they went on this back and forth for like 2 years or thereabouts. And then when Barrigo saw that, yeah, they said what they meant and they meant what they said, you know what I'm saying? So they had to, wow, what are you going to do? Leave the gold? That's why you're in Africa in the first place. You don't care about the people. You are here for the gold. So now, if you need that gold, you need to bow. And so they bowed. Simple, clear shot. Colonel Goita was involved in a lot of, other stuff apart from the increasing the state stake in gold mines. I saw that he also invested in the company that produces shea butter because Mali is one of the largest exporters of shea seed, the seed that's needed to make the popular, well-known shea butter. So he's been doing a lot of good things. But the thing is, when you have been an imperialist-controlled state with powers like France, they are not gonna be happy when a government that actually cares about its people comes into power. How do I know this? Ask Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso and even the current Burkina Faso president. And apart from France, there are also other imperialist power in the shadows, but France is the biggest hater. So what does this mean in reality? Mali has been rocked by coup upon coup attempts. They've been attempting to start a coup. Now, the funniest one that happened recently was the one where they actually caught a French spy. Like, France was like, hey, you know what? If you all can't do it in the country, I'm gonna send somebody to do it myself to make sure that the job gets done. And he was caught. So clearly he was not as good as they thought he was. I don't know. But anyways, all of this is allegedly. So they caught the guy, they caught a lot of Malian government officials that was also arrested based on suspicion for being involved in the coup attempt. When France got the call, ring, ring, hey, the guy you sent down to start a coup got caught. And France was like, give him back. And Mali was like, hell no. Yeah, they said, no, we're giving him back. His arrest, and until we are done with whatever investigations or whatever else that they're trying to do, we're not gonna give him back. You know what I'm saying? Viva la vie, or whatever they say. Another funny thing that happened, because you need to understand that, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger just recently formed an alliance. And I just like to call them the Sahel State Chronicles, whatever. Anyway, so there are people who are, trying to hold up anti-imperialist traditions, right? They don't want foreign interference. They want to govern without it. Although I won't say it's 100% because they are still, coming to partnerships with people like Russia, especially in their fight against terrorism in their countries. Anyways, I say all that to say this. Donald Trump wakes up one random morning. You know him, Donald Trump, President of America, who just kidnapped the president of Venezuela. Yeah, that guy. He woke up and he said, hey, we finna restrict visa entries from these countries into the United States. And on the list was Mali and Burkina Faso. And you know how these two people responded? They also restricted US nationals from entering into their country. They said, you want to give us teeth? We're going to give you tat. So it will be teeth or tat. We feel, we cool. We're not cool. We don't care. I'm enjoying myself way too much with this. So what is my own personal thoughts on all of this? Well, I saw a lot of, doubters and haters against Mali, especially when it came to the gold mine controversy, saying, hey, you can't do that. You don't even have the appliances, you don't have the infrastructure to manage the gold mines. I see a lot of voices telling Mali and a lot of African countries who are trying to be free of, imperialist rule that, hey, you can't do this. You need us. You need to bow to us. You need to partner with us. You can't. Where do you think you can go to without us? They sound like pure Satan. You know what I'm saying? So if there's anything I have to say to Mali or any Malians in the comments is one, hey, be careful of the alliances you make. You know, this you already have a history. We all Africans have a history of knowing how sneaky foreign partnerships can be, right? And then to the haters that keep saying, hey, you can't do it, you can't do it, just shut out those voices. They need you to be dependent on them. They like to create the illusion that you can't go far without us. You need us. And in reality, they need you. Because if they did not need Mali, Barrigo should have packed up their stuff, their infrastructure, their gold mining company, and they would have left. But they need Mali. They need her gold. They need Africa's resources. So all this talk is just back talk. If you did not need them, you would have packed your stuff and you leave when they tell you to leave, but you don't leave. Given toxic relationship, what are you here for? Can they breathe? Huh? But anyways, the power balance is not as far apart as most Africans like to think. You are in a high power play and you are not a pawn. They've made you to think that you're a pawn, but you're not. No, you're not. Don't ever believe that lie. Anyway, that's what I got to say about Mali. Very entertaining. You know, I pray that they succeed in all that they endeavor to do. And I also pray for the government, you know, because people keep trying to kill him. They also keep trying to kill the other guy, Burkina Faso, the president. And I just pray that their government is sustained so that Malians could enjoy um, the development and the growth and all of that. You know, I pray that let Africa enjoy good government. We have tried. Have we not tried? Have a nice day, guys.